What in the world? Welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and we have some very surprising news coming out tonight. So, shared password for Mawilite and Beedrillite has been released. So, pretty much if you weren't able to participate in the International Challenge and then get the codes for Mawilite and Beedrillite, this is going to be the rollout for those players that missed it. However, it also comes with Audinite and Medichamite. That is incredibly unexpected, so I'm going to go and claim my mystery gift right now because Mega Medicham is a pretty awesome Pokemon, and having the Mega Audino is pretty good as well. So all we have to do is put in our code, and we're going to be good to go, and the code is Intimidate. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, I saw Intimidate, I was like, I don't know what that would be about. And let's see if it verifies and gives us the gifts. Now, what I'm interested in is because I picked up the Mawilite and Beedrillite already. So is it just going to give me the two others? Am I going to get duplicates? What is going to happen? Because I thought that if you already received the Mawilite and Beedrillite, you wouldn't be able to receive the duplicates. But it seems like, since they're just kind of lumping other Mega Stones in with this, you can go and get extras. So that's pretty cool right there. And it means you don't have to participate in any events. So that's pretty crazy with the other releases coming out, such as the Pidgeotite and the Steelixite, as well as the Trio Hoenn starters. So let's go and grab these items right here. I'm going to grab 4 different items. Alright. I just have to see this in my inventory. I have to see 2 Mawilite and 2 Pidgeotite. That's a pretty nuts right there. Or not Pidgeotite, Beedrillite. So yeah, 2 Beedrillite, 2 Mawilite. So if you did enter the competition, you will have a bit of an advantage. And also, I guess good trade bait, even though everyone has access to these Mega Stones. But yeah, like, we just get some extra duplicates, so you can give one to your friend, or you can use it for trades and stuff. That's pretty interesting, and it's also worth considering because there will be all of the Hoenn starters getting their Mega Stones here pretty soon. So this is your reminder, if you want to get Mega Swampert, Mega Sceptile, or Mega Blaziken, you do need to enter for the International Challenge for April. However, it has not yet begun, so mark your calendars for April 19th. That's when you can sign up. Then you battle the 28th through the 30th. Make sure you participate in 3 battles, and then you just wait a couple weeks, and then the code happens, and then that's how you get the Pokemon Mega Stones before anyone else. And then I guess we're just going to see how the rest of it unfolds. So I'm going to try to remember to do an update video, and that's kind of it. Also, don't forget about the Kanto Alola Regional Rumble that you can already pick up your Pidgeotite and your Steelixite, and it looks like they're just going to start lumping Mega Stones together. And does that mean we're going to get, like, these stones a month from now, since it's about a month later? Maybe it's a little longer. So early May, mid-May, we might get Steelixite, Pidgeotite, and 2 other Mega Stones. And then in June, we'll have all of the Hoenn starters. Who even knows anymore? Like, it's just crazy, because these 2 extras were a big surprise. Now we have Medichamite and Audinite. I mean, I have an Audino, and it was supposed to be a Mega Audino, so I might be able to just whip that out in some battles now. And then we also had Mega Mewtwo Y, Mega Mewtwo X just kind of randomly being a thing. So it seems like it's raining Mega Stones to try to get the whole roster of Pokemon available in Pokemon Sun and Moon finally. I don't know if this was like a calculated plan, because like this is hype. This might bring a very small portion of players back into battling, just like, oh, something new, something fresh, new opponents, I get to use some extra Pokemon. Maybe some Mega Medicham, Mega Audino fans out there, or at least something. Like, Pokemon news has felt pretty dead for a while, so it's starting to revitalize and starting to get going. And when we think about it, it actually wasn't too long of a wait that I was looking at the videos, and to claim the Mega Stones, or to do the battles for the Mega Stones. So the actual battles were on February 25th, and then by March 6th, the Pokemon were live. So not too long of a wait for the codes afterwards. So that means, like, with this in late April, we're going to have like an early mid-ish May for the Mega Hoenn starters. So that's also looking pretty good right there. And then also we have a little bit of news right now. Hurry up and hatch eggs in the latest global mission ending soon. Now, I don't understand this update at all. The Pokemon Global Link seems to be a little out of touch right now, considering we are at an insane amount of eggs hatched. Yeah, so we're almost at 10 million right now. You might have just seen it kind of flash by on the bottom of your screen, and we still have a week to go or something crazy like that. So I'm not worried. I don't think we need to hurry up and hatch some eggs at this point, unless we just want to kind of like prove, hey, 20 million eggs hatched or something ridiculous like that. So that's going to be it for the news, but I do want to catch up on the strategies for these new Mega Pokemon as well. Now, Mawilite and Beedrillite have been available for a while, but there are some serious implications, buffs and nerfs and weirdness that's going on with these Pokemon, so it is worth covering, and then talking about Medicham and Audino sets. So Mawile. Mawile got a little bit of a nerf on the Sucker Punch because even though it isn't a part of its primary stab, the main thing that Mawile wants to do is set up a Swords Dance, Sucker Punch, and then just one-hit KO everything. Like, it's such a dumb, stupid, insane amount of damage that when you Swords Dance into Sucker Punch on the Mawile, just to get an idea of how ridiculous it was, but like, even with this nerf, it can almost one-shot a Silvally. And Silvally is kind of seen as a very tanky Pokemon without any hit point or defensive investment, has 95 in those basements, and it is very hard to neutrally one-hit KO, let alone neutral one-hit KO without a stab move. So if we go +2 on the attack, Adamant, huge power, Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch used to be 80. So Sucker Punch would have had the one-hit KO against the Silvally, which means you need to burn it. You need to, like, do something to just shut it down and make sure it can't happen. You need to intimidate it. It needs to go away quickly. But then also, it just has a high amount of hit point investment, like a 125 defense Pokemon with max hit point investment on even a 50 base hit points is going to be kind of challenging to take down. That Mega Mawile can survive a 2-hit KO, 3-hit KO in some situations, and then that means it just sets up that one Swords Dance and that KOs everything. Or if it manages to get 2 Swords Dances, now we're dealing with like even resisted hits. Actually, let's see where we end up. So let's say +4 against Greninja. I'm pretty sure that this has been done already and people like understand the matchup. But yeah, if you're at +4, even like resisted Pokemon still go down. So with the Greninja and that much damage, probably applies for the for Weavile as well. So it was pretty scary, but now just a little bit of a nerf, so not as terrifying, and has, you know, you can bring in a physical defensive Pokemon to completely wall it out. Let's see the Toxapex. Toxapex might be, like, at least, like, with Toxapex coming in, has a better chance either during or a little bit after setup. So yeah, the Sucker Punch is still pretty powerful. Fortunately, Play Rough and Iron Head are going to be resists in some kind of way. And if you can get the Scald Burn, that's not going to be as bad overall, but even at the +2. So they set up for a turn, they throw out the Sucker Punch. Toxapec's mostly going to have Toxic Stall, so with Mega Mawile being immune to the Toxic, that kind of leads to some weirdness. So if you get the Scald Burn, then you can out-sustain them, and even at +2, it becomes like Mind Games. I don't know. It's still a disgusting matchup, but yeah, the Mega Mawile is a scary Pokemon for sure. That the idea is a sweeping Pokemon is frail, but it outspeeds Pokemon that have set up, and then Mawile just says no to all of that. Then we look at the Beedrill. So Beedrill, massive buffs. Just, it gets like a doubly awesome buff right here. It's like technically a triple buff, because you don't have to run Protect anymore. So now you can run your 4 move slots that you need to run. But also, with Mega Evolution applying speed on that first turn, that's why we don't have Protect, and now we're a 145 base speed Pokemon. Now, whenever you see Beedrill, you're immediately going up against a 145 beneficial speed Pokemon, no matter what. And then Felt Stinger still has a lot of damage, so you bring it in as either Revenge Pokemon or something in that mid to late game, and Felt Stinger got a buff, so it has higher base power, raises the attack by 3 instead of 2 on the KO, and then everything dies. It gets to the point where if you +3 on the Felt Stinger into your adaptability, Felt Stinger can find KOs by itself, and then you just run Stab, Poison Jab for the coverage, Drill Run for coverage, and then Knock Off. Now, Knock Off is a transfer-only move, so that's something that you will need to be aware of, and it will be a move tutor from Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And then, like, I've just been seeing all kinds of things people are running on the Beedrill, so it got the goods. Like, yeah, I've seen Pursuit for sure, that it's like, oh, switch out against Beedrill, try to go into something to tank it, and then you eat extra damage on the Pursuit, just some fun stuff like that. So Beedrill looking pretty strong. I'm still not a big fan of U-Turn. I really haven't been a big fan of U-Turn on the Mega Beedrill because you're losing damage on X-Scissor, which could be important, or if you're Felt Stingering, then you don't want to lose those stat boosts by switching out. But overall, Beedrill just got massive buffs across the board. Like, maybe one of the most buffed Pokemon in all of Pokemon Sun and Moon, if not the most buffed. So, pretty crazy stuff right there. Now, Medicham. I don't really know what changes for Medicham. I think we have to see him get into some battles before we can make like a hard decision if Medicham got better or worse with all the Pokemon introduced in Pokemon Sun and Moon. It seems like off the bat could be worse because we have Tapu Koko, so it hits you with a Dazzling Gleam, and that's kind of going to suck because it outspeeds you. So a lot of the faster Pokemon make it harder for Medicham, but also a lot of slower Pokemon were introduced as well. That most of the Pokemon in Sun and Moon are under 100 base speed, so that gives Medicham a bit more wiggle room to just go and one-shot everything with a high jump kick, Zen Headbutt, or then coverage out on Ice Punch, or whatever other move that you want to choose. So, if Medicham was introduced as a part of the Alola region, and if Mega Stones were allowed or something, that could have made it a little bit more viable. But now that we have all the other fast Pokemon that were threatening Medicham before, does kind of get in the way. But Talonflame is not as much of an issue. So without Talonflame, Medicham does feel a lot better about that. And as for how you're running it, there's different ways. You know, some people, they'll go like Jolly, and then they'll just try to speed tie 100 base speed Pokemon. Other people, they decide, that's not really worth it, and they just go for like high amounts of hit point investment, and then maybe some specific speeds depending on like what kind of speed ties you want against whatever Pokemon. But pretty much this is going to be like mad tank busting, and then you get to run the Adamant Nature and get even more damage. So you can KO anything slower than you, or also your opponent's going to be able to hit you, you survive, and then you can throw down Ice Punch. That's one of my favorite things to do against a Garchomp. That Garchomp might try to go for like some mad damage, but with the hit point investment, you survive, and then you can Ice Punch them. And if they don't have any more sweepers, that's going to be good for the Medicham. Also, Sticky Web setup, it's really good with the Medicham, still feels about the same. So pretty much it's just Medicham is now usable Mega. So everything that Mega Medicham did does it the same, except now it doesn't have to worry about Talonflame as much. And then into the Audino. So Audino, it's kind of built for a doubles Pokemon because of the healer ability. It doesn't have any singles viable ability because healer only helps adjacent Pokemon. So that's kind of unfortunate right there. No change to the ability with Pokemon Sun and Moon, but we can still run it like a knockoff Clefable. I don't mean like knock off the move, like a janky kind of Clefable, because you max out hit points, you max out defense, and now you're actually really tanky. Like Clefable survives Iron Heads from certain Pokemons. Clefable with full hit point defense investment just tanks everything. So it works out pretty well, but Clefable has a couple of things that the Audino doesn't. So even though we are getting a substantial buff to the defense and we have a bit more hit points, Clefable will have access to leftovers. So that effective healing will add up over time, but also has on-demand healing with the Moonlight. So with the Audino, you kind of have to wish, anticipate taking damage, survive that hit, then get into your Calm Minds. Now, if you can do that properly, and you can get into a good wish momentum gain, then that might work out for the Audino. But at the same time, it's kind of a trade-off. You know, you get more PP than the Moonlight on Clefable, but you also don't have Unaware. So it's not as easy to bring in a lot of situations, but then you kind of run it the same. You go Calm Mind, then you have Fairy Stab, and then you have Flamethrower to coverage for Steel-type Pokemon. And that's the Audino. So, trying to think, I don't think much changes for the Audino as well. I mean, it gets access to the Blizzard, but I don't think Hail teams really benefit that much from it either. Just kind of like scrolling through the moveset list. Yeah. I don't think, it's pretty much like the Medicham. So, Mawile and Beedrill got noticeable changes. Medicham and Audino, I guess we have to see it in battle if people are using it. Not a lot of people were using it to begin with, and I don't think there was that much of a change to the metagame in the Alola region. Kind of justify this Pokemon becoming even more useful. If anything, a Fairy Pokemon just has a harder time because there's Pokemon like Alolan Muck, and then some other kind of annoying Poison-type Pokemon running around. So there we go, guys. Quick little bit of a breakdown at the end of this news video, talking about the Mega Pokemon that have been released, and then we get to do Steelixite, Pidgeotite, whatever Pokemon, Hoenn starters, and it gets crazier from there. So you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching. Also, in case someone brings it up, I don't think Trick Room's worth it on the Audino at this state. Like, Audino, Mega Audino, okay Trick Room Pokemon 6th generation, but now there's just so many better Trick Room Pokemon. The Evolite Porygon 2 is becoming super reliable. We also have the Oranguru, and then, yeah, Z Trick Room doesn't really do too much for the Audino either. Like, it's just, nah. There's too many other Trick Room Pokemon that are just too good.